Welcome back to our channel History Coins HD. As you that old as gold, but these rare Kennedy half-dollar coin that are most valuable than you think, don't spend one of them. You're lucky if you have one of these, so please watch complete video and find your treasure. Let's start this. Number 1. Because in this video, we're diving deep into one of the most iconic and mysterious coins in modern US history, the bicentennial Kennedy half-dollar from the year 1776 to 1976. Now, before you toss that old coin jar or skip past some loose change at a yard sale, you might want to watch this entire video, because hiding among those everyday coins might be one that could change your life. Yes, we're talking about a coin that looks ordinary but could be worth an absolutely jaw-dropping amount of money if you know what to look for. Let's turn back the clock to understand why this particular coin is so special, and more importantly, why one version of it is worth more than a brand new luxury car. When the United States celebrated its 200th birthday in 1976, the U.S. Mint released a special series of coins to mark the nation's bicentennial. Among them was the Kennedy half-dollar, already a popular coin since its first release in 1964 following the tragic assassination of President John F. Kennedy. But this bicentennial edition wasn't just any half-dollar, it was a patriotic tribute to 2 centuries of American freedom, history, and pride. This coin proudly features the dual date 1776 to 1976, symbolizing the birth of the United States and the 200 years that followed. It was issued in both circulation and special collector versions, and millions were minted across different facilities. However, not all Kennedy half-dollars are created equal, and that's where things get exciting. Let's talk about the design for a moment. On the obverse, we have the familiar, stately portrait of President Kennedy, facing left, created by sculptor Gilroy Roberts. But it's the reverse side that truly sets this coin apart. Designed by Seth G. Huntington, the back shows a dramatic, detailed image of Independence Hall in Philadelphia, the birthplace of American democracy. Below the iconic building are the words 200 Years of Freedom, along with the designer's initials. It's a design rich in symbolism, and it resonates deeply with collectors and patriots alike. Now, you might be thinking millions of these coins were made, right? So how could one possibly be rare or valuable? The answer lies in the details, literally. You see, while millions of Kennedy half-dollars were struck for circulation, a small number were made in limited quantities using 40% silver, and even fewer were struck in proof or special mint sets. And within that small group, there are even rarer versions, coins with minting errors, striking anomalies, or even ultra-high grades from coin grading services that make them incredibly desirable among serious collectors. Some of these rare bicentennial half-dollars have been preserved in flawless, uncirculated condition. Others have incredibly scarce double die errors, where the design is stamped twice and slightly misaligned, creating a ghost-like effect. Some even have a unique no FG marking, where the designer's initials are missing from the reverse, something that adds serious mystery and value to the piece. Now, let's talk numbers. In most cases, a standard 1776 to 1976 Kennedy half-dollar you find in your pocket change might only be worth 50 cents to a couple of dollars. But if you happen to come across a silver bicentennial Kennedy half-dollar in pristine condition, or one with a known and verified error, the value can skyrocket. Imagine holding a coin in your hand that looks just like any other, but has been authenticated, graded, and confirmed to be one of the rarest examples ever struck. This is where the magic happens. There have been verified sales and auctions where high-grade silver bicentennial Kennedy half-dollars, especially those with rare die varieties or mint errors, have fetched eye-watering sums. And yes, this is the part you've all been waiting for. One such incredibly rare version of the 1776 to 1976 Kennedy half-dollar, in near perfect condition and with a unique error, has been valued at $75,000. That's right, $75,000 for a single 50-cent coin. It sounds unbelievable, but it's absolutely true. This isn't just a piece of metal, it's a slice of American history, a collectible gem, and a dream find for any numismatist. So what should you do now? Check your old change jars. Look through your inherited coin collections. Ask your relatives if they've got any old half-dollars lying around. And if you find a 1776 to 1976 Kennedy half-dollar, don't rush to spend it, examine it carefully. Look for the mint mark, especially the S4 San Francisco, which typically denotes silver proofs. Look at the edge. If it doesn't show the usual copper strip, you may be holding a silver version. And if you think it might be something rare, consider having it professionally graded. Collectors around the world are hunting for these hidden treasures, and who knows? The next rare Kennedy half-dollar to hit the spotlight could be sitting in your own home. just waiting to be discovered. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of rare US coins, be sure to give this video a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our future discoveries. We've got more incredible coin stories coming your way, and maybe even more hidden treasures you never knew existed. Thanks for watching, and until next time, happy hunting, and may your next coin find be worth $75,000. Number 2. We're shining the spotlight on a coin that most people have seen, many have handled, but few truly understand. The 1971 D. Kennedy half-dollar. It might look like a regular old coin from your childhood piggy bank or maybe even a dusty drawer in your parents' house. But here's the twist. What if I told you that one particular version of this coin has sold for the kind of money that could buy a luxury car, pay off debt, or even put a down payment on a house? That's right. You do not want to miss this deep dive, because by the end of this video, we're going to reveal the kind of staggering value that a rare 1971 D. Kennedy half-dollar can carry, and it's not what you'd expect from a coin that originally cost just 50 cents. Let's rewind the clock a little. The year is 1971. The Beatles have broken up. Disney World has just opened in Florida. Gasoline is 40 cents a gallon. And in the Denver Mint, a brand new wave of Kennedy half-dollars is being struck, millions of them. This was a major year for the Kennedy half-dollar series. Why? Because it marked the very first time the coin was produced without any silver content. From 1965 to 1970, Kennedy half-dollars were made with a 40% silver composition. But starting in 1971, the Mint transitioned fully to a copper-nickel clad alloy. That means the 1971 D version was supposed to be just another clad coin, mass-produced for everyday use, but, like with many things in the world of coin collecting, mistakes happen. And when they do, they create the kind of rarity that sends collectors into a frenzy. Now let's talk about the design. On the obverse side, you'll find the stately profile of President John F. Kennedy, sculpted by Gilroy Roberts. His gaze is steady, forward-looking, symbolizing strength and optimism. It's one of the most iconic portraits in U.S. coinage history. On the reverse, you'll see the presidential seal, an eagle with a shield on its chest, holding an olive branch in one talon and arrows in the other, surrounded by a ring of stars. It's a bold, patriotic design that reflects American values of peace, strength, and unity. So, with millions of these coins minted, what could possibly make one of them so valuable? Let's dive into the secret behind the 1971 D. Kennedy half-dollar's hidden value. Most people don't realize that among the sea of standard 1971 D. half-dollars, there are a tiny handful that were mistakenly struck on 40% silver planchets, the leftover blanks from 1970 that should have been removed from the minting process. This minting error was never intended, and that's what makes these silver planchet 1971 D. Kennedy half-dollars so extraordinary. Imagine this, a coin that appears completely normal to the naked eye, but under testing or with the right equipment, reveals that it was struck in silver, not copper-nickel like the rest. These accidental silver coins are extremely rare, and when they're found in high-grade, uncirculated condition, collectors are willing to pay a premium, a very big premium. But wait, there's more. Some rare 1971 D half-dollars also exhibit unique die errors, doubling, or off-center strikes. Others may show unexpected coloration or toning due to environmental exposure or minting inconsistencies. These flaws, rather than decreasing value, can actually make a coin much more collectible if they're certified by reputable grading companies. The key here is condition and rarity. If you've got a 1971 D Kennedy half-dollar that's been well preserved, hasn't been circulated heavily, and might even carry an error or be struck on the wrong planchet, you could be holding something incredibly valuable. So what should you look for? Here are some telltale signs of weight. Silver planchets are heavier than clad ones. A silver half-dollar should weigh around 11.5 grams, compared to the standard 11.34 grams. A color and sound. Silver coins tend to have a more solid ring when dropped and often show a different luster than clad coins. Professional grading. If you suspect your coin is unique, send it to a grading company like PCGS or NGC for authentication. Their confirmation is what turns your pocket change into a prized collectible. And now, the moment you've been waiting for, the real reason you stayed with us through this story of history, design, and minting mystery. A rare 1971 D Kennedy half-dollar, struck accidentally on a 40% silver planchet and preserved in near-perfect condition, once sold at auction for a breathtaking $78,000. Yes, you heard that right. $78,000 for a coin that most people would have used to buy a soda or a movie ticket back in the day. That's the magic of numismatics, the world of coin collecting, where small objects carry big history, and sometimes even bigger price tags. So, what does this mean for you? If you've got a stash of old coins sitting in a drawer, or if you love hunting through pocket change, don't overlook those Kennedy half dollars, especially the ones from 1971. Weigh them. Inspect them. Do your homework. That ordinary looking coin could be the ticket to an incredible discovery. Number 3. If you've got a jar of old change sitting around, this video might just inspire you to go digging, because today we're uncovering the secrets behind one of the most unexpected stars in US coinage history, the 1973 D. Kennedy half dollar. At first glance, this coin might not look like anything special. It's big, it's bold, and it carries the famous face of John F. Kennedy. You've probably seen one before. Maybe you've spent one. Maybe you've even tossed it into a vending machine. But here's the kicker, some of these coins aren't just collectible. They're incredibly rare. And one, in particular, has become the stuff of legend in the coin collecting world. So, what makes the 1973 D. Kennedy half dollar so intriguing? Let's take a step back and look at where it all started. The Kennedy half dollar was first issued in 1964, just months after the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. It was a national tribute, and the American public embraced it almost immediately. Over the years, the coin evolved from silver to clad, from high circulation to limited mintages, but its place in American coin history remained strong. By 1973, the United States Mint had settled into a steady rhythm with the Kennedy series. That year, coins were struck at multiple mints, including Denver, and bore the D Mint mark. In total, the Denver Mint produced tens of millions of these half dollars in 1973. But here's where things get interesting, none of those 1973 Kennedy half dollars were released into general circulation. That's right. Unlike other years, the 1973 issue was minted exclusively for coin sets sold directly to collectors by the US Mint. So if you were an average person walking into a store or a bank in 1973, you couldn't get this coin in your change. You had to have ordered a special set to even get one. Because of this limited distribution, many 1973 D. Kennedy half dollars ended up locked away in folders, coin albums, and collections, often untouched for decades. And while they may not have been rare initially, something surprising began to happen over time. As the years went by, these coins started to disappear from the hobby. Some were spent unknowingly. Others were damaged, lost, or tarnished beyond recognition. Today, finding a 1973 D. Kennedy half dollar in pristine, uncirculated condition is far more difficult than people realize. Now let's talk about the coin itself. The obverse features the powerful profile of President Kennedy, his hair windswept and sharp, a portrait of strength and hope. The words Liberty arc above his head, while In God We Trust appears just below his chin. The date 1973 is boldly engraved at the bottom. Flip it over, and you'll find the majestic presidential seal on the reverse, a bald eagle with wings spread wide, holding arrows and an olive branch, with a shield on its chest and a ring of stars surrounding it. The detail is incredible, especially on coins struck with precision. And beneath the eagle is that tiny D Mint mark, your clue that this coin came from the Denver Mint. While millions were minted, here's the twist, some 1973 D. Kennedy half dollars have been found with striking errors, planchet mistakes, or other rare variations that collectors go absolutely wild for. These errors include things like off-center strikes, double die obverse clipped planchets, coins struck on the wrong metal blanks. Each of these oddities increases the value of the coin, especially when combined with a flawless condition or high grading from a professional service like PCGS or NGC. You may be wondering, how would someone even know if they had a special one? Well, the key is in the details. Weight, sound, luster, and even tiny design elements can make the difference between a standard coin worth a few dollars and a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. And here's another fun fact, because the 1973 D. Kennedy half dollar wasn't meant for general use, it stands out as a collectible on principle alone. But when it appears in perfect condition, with a rare mint error or a high-grade certification, it can command a jaw-dropping price in auctions, which brings us to the big moment. You've stayed with us through the history, the features, and the hidden secrets behind the 1973 D. Kennedy half dollar. Now it's time to talk numbers. One rare example of this coin, featuring a unique error and preserved in outstanding condition, was once valued at an astonishing $70,000. Let that sink in. A 50-cent piece, minted for collectors, tucked away in sets, and forgotten by many, holding a value equal to a luxury car or a college education. It's incredible, and it's 100% real. So, what does this mean for you? If you've got a 1973 D Kennedy half dollar at home, don't rush to spend it. Get it examined. Weigh it. Look for errors. And if you think it's special, consider having it professionally graded. You might just be sitting on a fortune without even knowing it. Number 4. Where we explore the fascinating world of rare coins, unexpected treasures, and valuable secrets hiding in plain sight. Today, we're zooming in on a coin that many people have seen, held, or even spent without a second thought, the 1988 D Kennedy half dollar. Yes, that shiny 50-cent piece you may have dismissed as ordinary could actually be extraordinary. Because believe it or not, some versions of this coin are turning heads and fetching eye-popping prices in the collector market. So stick around, because this isn't just a story about money, it's a story about American history, minting quirks, and one very overlooked coin that could be worth a small fortune. Let's take a trip back to the late 1980s. The Cold War was winding down, the Berlin Wall was still standing, and American pop culture was booming with neon lights, VHS tapes, and cassette players. Amidst all that, in the Denver Mint, millions of Kennedy half dollars were being struck with the date 1988 and the small but important D Mint mark, designating their origin. Now, by this time, the Kennedy half dollar had been in circulation for over 2 decades. Originally released in 1964 as a tribute to the late President John F. Kennedy, the coin became a symbol of hope and remembrance. But in the years that followed, its use in everyday commerce declined. By 1988, it wasn't common to see people actually using the coin to buy anything. In fact, most of these half dollars ended up in drawers, banks, or mint sets. So why are we talking about the 1988 D today? Because while millions were produced, not all were created equally. And a few of them, just a tiny fraction, turned out to be very, very special. Let's start with the design. On the front of the coin, you'll see the sharp and familiar profile of John F. Kennedy, designed by Gilroy Roberts. His image is bold and clean, with striking detail in the hair, eyes, and jawline. Just beneath his chin are the words, "In God We Trust," and the year 1988 rests firmly at the bottom. Flip the coin over and you'll find the majestic presidential seal designed by Frank Gasparo, an eagle with wings spread wide, a shield on its chest, clutching arrows, and an olive branch, surrounded by a ring of stars. Just below the eagle is the small but crucial D4. Denver sounds standard, right? But here's where it gets exciting. Collectors have discovered that a small number of 1988 D Kennedy half dollars have unique features that separate them from the rest of the pack. These are coins that were either struck on the wrong metal planchets, or with mint errors like double dies, off-center strikes, or unusually strong details that show signs of over-polishing or under-polishing at the mint. There are even examples believed to have been mistakenly struck using leftover materials from other coin types, such as foreign planchets or experimental blanks that never should have been used for half dollars. The result? A small but mighty group of rare 1988 D Kennedy half dollars that have become highly prized by numismatists. These aren't your average pocket change, they are anomalies, unintentional masterpieces, and certified collectibles. What makes these coins especially exciting is that most people have no idea they could be valuable. They're often sitting in boxes, tucked into old coin albums, or passed down through generations without anyone realizing what they're worth, and that brings us to another key point: condition. The value of any coin depends heavily on its condition. Coins that have been handled, scratched, or circulated lose much of their collector appeal. But coins in uncirculated or mint state condition, especially those that have been professionally graded, can skyrocket in value. So how do you know if your 1988 D Kennedy half dollar is one of the rare ones? Here are a few things to look out for. Unusual weight. If it feels heavier or lighter than normal, it might have been struck on the wrong blank. Striking errors. Look for doubling in the letters, off-center images, or other unusual features. Condition. Coins with little to no wear and high shine have a much higher chance of being valuable. Certification. Consider sending your coin to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC for authentication. That official grade can unlock serious value. Now you might be asking, with so many coins made in 1988, how rare can this really be? And here's the truth: it's not about how many were made, it's about how few survived in pristine condition, or how few were struck with a rare minting error. That's what drives value in the world of coin collecting. Now for the moment you've been waiting for. Among the rarest known examples of the 1988 D Kennedy half dollar, one with an extraordinary mint error in verified mint state condition, has been valued at an astonishing $65,000. Yes, you heard that correctly. A 50-cent piece that once jingled in someone's pocket now holds the kind of value most people can only dream of. So the next time you're going through your coin jar, or helping a family member sort through old keepsakes, keep your eyes peeled for the 1988 D. Kennedy half-dollar. You never know, you could be holding a hidden gem worth tens of thousands of dollars. If you enjoyed this deep dive and want more incredible stories from the world of rare coins, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out. We've got more mysteries, more treasures, and more surprises coming your way. Number 5. We're diving into a coin that looks ordinary at first glance, but for the lucky few, it has turned into an unbelievable payday. Get ready, because we're about to unlock the story behind one of the most fascinating and overlooked coins in recent U.S. history, the 1992 P. Kennedy half-dollar. You might think it's just another half-dollar, but let me tell you, there's more to this coin than meets the eye. Let's go back to the early 90s. The Cold War was officially ending. Bill Clinton was gearing up to campaign for president. The internet was just beginning to peek into public awareness. Meanwhile, at the Philadelphia Mint, a standard run of Kennedy half-dollars was being struck for the year 1992, nothing special on the surface. These coins bore the P Mint mark, and most were destined for circulation or collector sets, but as with many things in the coin world, even something routine can become rare under the right circumstances. By 1992, the Kennedy half-dollar had already cemented its place in American culture. It was first introduced in 1964, a year after the tragic assassination of President John F. Kennedy. The coin was meant to honor his legacy, and over the decades, it evolved from a symbol of mourning to a staple in numismatic collections across the country. And now, let's talk about the coin itself. The obverse features a bold and commanding portrait of Kennedy, designed by Gilroy Roberts. The hair detail is sharp, the profile strong, the gaze forward. The words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust" frame the upper portion, while the date 1992 rests below the neckline. On the reverse, you have the iconic presidential seal, an eagle with wings spread, arrows and olive branch in its talons, and a shield across its chest. It's surrounded by a ring of stars and the words "United States of America" and half-dollar. A classic design, yes. But in 1992, something interesting happened. For the first time since 1970, the U.S. Mint reintroduced 90% silver Kennedy half-dollars, but only for proof sets, those glossy, mirror-like coins produced for collectors. These silver versions were never intended for general circulation, and that's where the mystery begins. In an extremely rare case, a small number of silver planchets, those 90% silver coin blanks meant only for proof coins, may have accidentally found their way into the regular production line at the Philadelphia Mint, where the regular 1992 P coins were being struck for circulation. That means a handful of 1992 P Kennedy half-dollars were struck in silver, not the usual copper-nickel clad alloy. To the naked eye, these coins might not look any different from the standard ones. But their composition, their very DNA, is what sets them apart. Now, imagine finding one of those coins in your change jar. It weighs just a touch more. It sounds a little different when dropped. It might even have a deeper, brighter shine. You might think it's a regular coin, until a collector or grading expert tells you it's something else entirely. These accidental silver strikes, when confirmed, are incredibly valuable, not just because they're rare, but because they tell a story. They represent a mistake that wasn't supposed to happen. And in the world of coin collecting, mistakes are golden. There are also other versions of the 1992 P that collectors go crazy for, the coins with die varieties, double strikes, and mirror-like finishes that somehow made it into general release. Combine these rare features with a near-perfect condition, and you've got something that goes far beyond face value, but the key factor here is condition. Coins that have been well preserved, untouched by circulation, and free from damage are the ones that truly stand out. And when those coins are authenticated and graded by services like PCGS or NGC, their market value can shoot through the roof. Now, here's the part you've been waiting for. There is one known example of a 1992 P Kennedy half-dollar, mistakenly struck on a silver planchet and found in remarkable condition, that was appraised and sold for a life-changing amount. That coin, small, shiny, and once assumed ordinary, was valued at an incredible $58,000. Yes, you heard that right. A 50-cent coin that someone could have easily spent at a gas station or dropped in a donation jar turned out to be worth nearly the price of a luxury vehicle. So what can you do? Start looking. Check your change. Go through your old coin rolls, your inherited collections, or those forgotten proof sets from the attic. Look for the 1992 P Kennedy half-dollar. If you find one that feels unusual, looks different, or weighs slightly more than the rest, get it checked out. You might just have something truly special. Thanks for watching today's episode. If you love stories like this, where small coins hold big secrets, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. We've got more amazing discoveries to share, and who knows? Your next big find could be sitting right in your pocket. Until next time, happy collecting, stay curious, and may your next coin be worth $58,000.